Last Sunday was a very bittersweet day for me. It was kind of hard to get through that last Sunday night, because last Sunday night at 6 o'clock marked my last time with this current confirmation class, with Abby and with Robert and with Peyton all together for one class. For today, we come together to celebrate their confirmation for Abby and for Robert. Peyton gets to have her very first experience being an assisting minister. No pressure. And they will move on to the next part of life. It has really been my honor over these past 2 years to be your teacher. For you allowing me to be your teacher. For showing up and participating. For doing all the work that was required of you without much complaint. During their first year, they had to read a good bit of the Bible every week, chapter upon chapter upon chapter. And just like the psalmist said today, they delighted in meditating on the word each and every day, I am sure. Some of the time, on occasion. Whereas this year we studied more things like the church year, the creeds, the commandments, all those wonderful, fun things. Now, back in the good old days, back in the Dark Ages, there was a practice, which some of you might still be familiar with, where the pastor would bring the confirmation students up to the front, and the congregation had an opportunity to hurl any question they desired upon the confirmation students, and they had to answer. That seems rather cruel to me. I'm not sure I would want to go through that. So I'm not going to make you do that, don't worry. That's just a history lesson for you. How you can be grateful today on not having to do that. But what I will do today is tell Peyton next year she has to. I'm just kidding, Peyton, don't worry. Don't worry. Instead, I'm going to ask one question to everyone not currently in confirmation class, who's not being confirmed today. This is for all y'all. What is confirmation? What? An affirmation of baptism, which means what? They take responsibility for the promise. All the things that their parents promised them at their baptisms, all the things that their godparents promised them on their baptisms, they now take all those responsibilities upon themselves, which also makes them adults in the church. I was getting bright. Like, I'm an adult now. Can I back out now? They have full right. These are our newest full members of the congregation, who could do things like be the next council president if they really wanted to. Again, the eyes go really big. And Neil's back there going, well, that's a good idea. So it's not just about voting, but saying, I am fully aware now of what's expected of me, which everyone else in this room is fully aware of too, right? You all know exactly what's expected of you by your loving God, down to the nth degree. No? You're all going back to confirmation next week. We're starting this over. Kindness, walking humbly with God, those are good things. I'm picturing this huge class, and it amuses me by no end. So, today in our readings, though, In our readings, Jesus is talking to God and praying to God throughout this really, really long prayer in John. And I really love John, right? Because John says the exact same thing 5,000 times in a row to make sure you got the point, which I'm prone to doing on occasion. I'll try not to do that again, at least today. But at the end, he says, you'll all be sanctified in the truth. You'll be sanctified. What does the word sanctify mean, do you think? Again, this is all for all y'all. Confirmation students, they're done for the day. They get to relax. This is for all y'all. What does sanctification mean in today's reading? I'll give this one to you. Become a saint? Well, you're close. If you expect all priests to be saints, which we hope for. All right? Well, in today's reading, the word is actually the same one used for how they would purify the priests. How the priests would become who they are as priests. And so he's telling the disciples, you will be made into priests, even though you don't have the temple to be there for and everything else. You're not going to have that responsibility. You'll be priests out there every single day, proclaiming the good news, doing good works, making sure that this message of love and hope from our God is spread around. And today, on this confirmation day, our two are reminded that they are sanctified as well. For we believe in the priesthood of all believers, that everyone who believes has responsibilities and has great role of being a priest in today's world. Not a responsibility that went away all those years ago. Not just the disciples saying, okay, we'll do this job and then everyone else is set for the next few millennia. But rather we are called and we are gifted so we may be priests each and every day. And each of us are called to be this in many different ways as well. Our vocations are all different. Today we celebrate one particular vocation, which is motherhood. Do we not? And we celebrate the vocations that we are given. The opportunities where God places us to spread that good news, to show that love. And we also remember that we still have to keep learning. There's one word that I try to never, ever, ever associate with confirmation. And if that word is? Graduation. This is not your graduation day, as you well know. We've covered this a few dozen times. This is not a, hey, you went through these classes, and you did the ceremony, and now you never need to come to church again. That is not what this is. Nor is it you're done with classes and you're done with education. You've learned everything you need to know. But instead, it's the next step in our journey. It's this journey that keeps on going through our entire lives, where now we are at a particular point where we can say, this is who I am, this is what I believe, which I could not do when I was wee little one, but now I can. And now it's my responsibility to go and to learn and to keep on growing, to keep seeking what it is that God desires of me, to keep up that joy of being with God in the Scriptures and coming to worship. This joy that God gives us through His love. This joy that brightens us each and every day. and we're to go out and to give that joy. I know I have been blessed throughout these 2 years. I've been blessed by your presence, blessed by your parents and your grandparents, blessed by your mentors. We should give thanks today as well, because throughout these last 2 years also, at least over the past year, Robert and Abby and Peyton have had mentors guiding them through confirmation and being with them to ask hard questions, to pray for them. And they'll be joining Abby and Robert up here today. Dennis Hoffman has been mentoring Robert. Neil Sawyer has been mentoring Abby. And Kathy Seflick has been mentoring Peyton and will continue to do so. What's also been beautiful is also our mentors have also said they will continue to be there for them as their journey continues. It's not a relationship that ends today either, but does continue on. And also these 2 years, we have not really focused on memorization, have we? If I were to ask you to come up here right now and give me all 10 commandments and the creed and what exactly they mean, could you do it? I have a better question. If I asked a random person in this congregation to come forward and give me the creeds and give me the 10 commandments and the exact meaning for all of them, could I do that? Probably not, right? But we know them a decent bit. We know why they're given to us. And we spent this year learning not just to be bonded together as the people of God, as this one body that has to love and support each other and lift each other up, but also to remember that we are made for a relationship with our God as well, to learn who our God is. And that isn't learned through memorization, but through experience. And we learn that our God is the one who loves and adores us beyond all measure. This God who forgives us each and every day. This God who makes us new in the waters of baptism each and every day. As we've been reminded in our opening to our worship services, when I've been splashing you all with water, making you so joy-filled, and some of you will be very excited to hear, and some of you will be very disappointed to hear, that because today is the last Sunday in the season of Easter, today is the last day until next Easter I get to splash you all. Please do not applaud. But remember always this baptism you've been given. Remember what it is that you are affirming today. This being made new. Always remember that we are never in this alone. I say we have this God who gives us joy. This God who sanctifies us. And this God who sends us out to be His hands in this world, bringing love and hope, forgiveness and mercy and peace to all that we come in contact with. Amen.